Alright, so we're here back at the Cathedral of Eternal Radiance, ready to leave Malcor's Leap. Deborah's job is to push through the metas that sweep along the road. So you'll notice here that Colonnade waypoint is not clear, the Valley of Lys is not clear, and neither is Doric's waypoint. Even the Cathedral of Zephyrs has fallen. So pretty much we have the entire movement of the pack to establish all the supply lines and re-establish our opening into the Cursed Shore here. And by the end of today, I'm actually hoping we will have pushed through a lot of the Cursed Shore as well. So to do that, I think it's time that Deborah learns from her experiences in the last part and dealing with the gods, and perhaps picks up another specialization line. So we already looked at honor, all about like healing and resustain. Let's take a look now at virtues. So virtues is like the guardian's fifth line. Again, how Ellies get arcane and necromancers get to deal with soul reaping and augment their life force a lot, and how engineers get to deal with their tool belt a lot. Well, here you'll remember, got 3 skills called virtues. Well, there's a whole specialization line called virtues as well. So again, it's about the 5th line, augmenting our profession mechanics. So let's pick this up. And because one of these is damaging, one of them is resustaining, and one of them is damage prevention, there's actually a lot of different kind of things you can do with virtues. It just depends on what choices you make. Basically, the whole point of this line, though, is turbocharging our virtues. So let's pick it up and see what we get. First of all, our virtues now apply boons. So we now get might. When we press F1, we get regeneration when we press F2, and we get protection when we press F3. And that's all AoE, by the way. So immediately, that's really nice. Next, Virtue of Retribution. We also get Retail whenever we use a virtue, and Retaliation we grant lasts longer. So it's actually burn people plus might plus retail, right? Or heal people, cleanse plus regen plus retail. Or Aegis plus protection and retail. Retail, which is kind of one of the, like Aegis, one of the big things that Guardians are very good at. And then finally, Power of the Virtuous. We do increased damage for every single boon we have on us. And so we've started getting more boon juggle on our F abilities immediately. But if we can stack billions of boons on ourselves, like say through our utility skills or through other people giving us boons, we start hitting really hard. And then also our virtues just start cooling down quicker. Very simple. I want to point out one of our shouts, by the way, at this point. We have this shout here. It's a Guild Wars 1 skill that was very iconic called Save Yourself. This takes all conditions on people around us and gives us 1 billion boons. Watch this. When I pop this one skill, look at all the boons we get. And they last for ages. Now, what this means is each one of these icons, because we're now virtues, is giving me more damage. So I'm going to run Save Yourselves just for fun. This was a thing people used to use a lot at launch. Not so much anymore. But we can have fun with Save Yourselves here. So there you go. That's the passives, the minors. Now let's look at the selections we can actually choose. And once again, I'm going to try and be all quite healy and supporty as much as possible. So first of all, let's pick up Retaliatory Subconscious. So this is just gain retaliation and Aegis if we get CC'd. So what that means is we'll defend ourselves a bit. If like a risen explodes on us and we get knocked to the floor, we'll be a little bit safe because we'll get free Aegis, which will then pop and give us a heal because of Pure of Heart. Remember, the 2 lines will combo with each other. So you got that. Next, I'm going to pick up Absolute Resolution. So this is about our F2. Activating the Virtual Resolve now removes even more conditions from nearby allies, and the passive from the F2 is stronger. So the passive is just heal over time, right? You'll see that right now it heals us for 173 every little while. Well, if we pick this up, that 173 goes all the way up to 216. So we've just buffed the hell out of the F2, basically, which is all about the sport. And then finally, I'm going to take this one here, Battle Presence, which is that the F2 now also goes on people around us. So, by making this AoE and by taking the Signet, it means that together we're just healing around us even more. Alright, so that's all the middle line. And for what it's worth, if you look at the Grandmasters, this Grandmaster's about F2. This Grandmaster, Permeating Wrath, is about damage and the F1 and making that really good. And this Grandmaster is about the F3 and making that really good. So I really love the way that the devs did this. There's 3 profession skills you get all the time. And the line about augmenting them has a Grandmaster for each of them. And they're all really distinct and well-defining. This one's really good as well. It makes that F3 become a stun break and stuff. Gives you stability on it. And in most game modes, you use that a lot. But I'm going to do the F2 here. So there you go. Lots of heals. That's Deborah pretty much set up now. And we want to push through. So it seems like some players have already cleared Colonnade. And Ren's been done. But what about this place over here? And what about this place over here? Let's deal with it.
Uh-oh. That is one giant, angry-looking spider. I'll set up the tents. You put some turrets on the perimeter.
Good idea. That'll stop any nasties from ruining our sleep tonight. We need to be in top form for tomorrow's journey. I expect trouble as we move into the valley. Things could get rough down there.
We can handle it. We'll set up turrets as we go and push through to Ren.
This should help anyone else come through the area. That'll be a nice surprise for some Orient creature. This seems like a secure location. Good cover. We're so exposed on the road.
Let's camp here. We'll head out with the main force in the morning.
All right, so here just outside Ren, you'll see that on the path to Ara meta event, which is the last meta event for this map, we do actually have some stuff to do. It says assistance is requested at the final camp and troops cannot advance. So where I'm walking right now, there is actually an escort that should take place here, where a group pushes out across the plains. And it's actually a really dangerous escort because as we move along, if you look on my mini-map, you'll see down here that there is a skull icon. There's a group event for a champion risen knight that haunts this area of the map. You see that there's this Whispers agent crying. Let's go speak to them. And it's a very dangerous event that the escort can sometimes get caught by, where basically the two events intersect. He says that there's a horrible monster in those ruins. Horrible. And we say, calm down. Tell me what happened. He says, I was the advanced scout, so I was ahead of my unit. When I heard the screams, I ran back to them as fast as I could. Where's your unit, we ask. Oh god, we're getting hit really hard. I saw it. A terrible beast from my worst nightmare. It was tearing them apart. I can't go back there. Where do I find this terrible beast, we ask. He says, you don't find it. It finds you. Don't go down the road through the ruins. You'll regret it. So, yeah, we're getting hit really hard by these embers right now. And yeah, you'll see on the mini-map, if you look, this beast is actually patrolling really fast and far. And it moves super quick around the map. It's one of the more fun things about this event that you don't often see with other events in the game too much, where there's a really fast-moving and particularly dangerous enemy. So we could try and kill it if this player with this bunny actually helps us out, but I'm not sure whether he will necessarily. I can heal him. Let's see. I'm going to say to him, let's kill it. It's a part of the meta. Assist is requested at the final camp. Troops cannot advance. On yesterday, we heard about the Altar of Lights, right? Which was an Orient ritual honoring Doric and Dwayna. You know, obviously Doric begged to Dwayna for her help in taking magic away from the humans. We'll actually see that the two things are very close. Is it down here? Look, there's some bodies. Here, looks like we've got the defeated squads. And some ruins. Well, let's just kind of wander around and see. Oh, no, the guy died. He died behind me. Shit. Oh, there it is. There's the monster. He just killed my friend. No. Whoops. Oh, no. Come back. So, what I need to do now... Oh, God. Deborah might die because this thing hits really hard. I'm not going to be able to res him. He needs to be able to... Okay, he just waypointed. Let's hope he comes back. I'm going to edit and see if he returns. This could be bad, though. All right, there's a guy over there as well. So, we'll see. Yeah, he did come back. Awesome. Okay, cool. So, let's see if we can keep him alive this time. And we'll be watching his health very closely. He's going to have to kind of do all the damage. So here I've got aggro, so I'm kind of tanking, which I really like. Good, he's hitting it really hard. This is great. This is genuinely really good. We just got to keep our Aegis up and keep our resustain going. Try and break his break bar where possible. So here he's blocking. So I tried to break the break bar, but it wasn't actually quite possible. So here, we'll do this. We'll give ourselves save yourselves for all these boons just to increase our damage a tiny bit, I guess. Just keep pressuring it down. So there, that's a pretty dangerous charge ability you want to be cautious of. Some Drakes earlier in the game were doing a similar thing. Oh, so here the Risen Knight charged and moved out of range of where he should be patrolling. So what the game did was it reset his health because it doesn't want it fighting from over there. So we have to kill it again now. Brilliant. Here I'll give my friend Empower so he has lots of might to deal with, to work with. Oh, shit! We both just went down. Oh, dear. I think we're dead. I think that's it. That's the charge. Oh, my God, we rallied! Oh, that was freaking crazy. Okay, we're going to be really careful here. How How did we rally? We must have hit something somewhere, somehow. I don't even know. I gotta... Okay, so if he's facing us, we have to be really careful. And not near any walls, because if he charges near a wall, he'll blow us up with that. Oh my god. There, like that. Jesus. Wept. There, I had to press F2 to resustain, which means we lose our passive healing over time. But I get to burst a little bit out. Okay, give him more might. He's got 25 might and quickness. He should be able to kill it. Okay, I managed to survive here, but he didn't, so I'm just got to res him. Oh, no! Oh, we missed the res ever so slightly. Okay, I'm going to try and get this anyway. I'm going to try and manually res this dude by chaining my blocks. Thing is, he's got a fire field there. We have to dodge his next charge, which I think is there. There you go. That's good. So, because my ally is defeated, he actually can't be damaged in the down state, so that's good. We got to heal up. Oh, okay, he just waypointed. We'll wait for him to come back again. Woo, there we go. Down he goes. My god, that was friggin' difficult. So yeah, a good example of the kind of creatures that we actually are fighting and are in the areas now. I'm happy to actually demonstrate that to you guys. I want to find the Asura. Where is he now? And the squad that fell down. I want to see if they're all happy. Let's see if we can get their dialogue. It was up the road a bit more, wasn't it? Yeah, they're over here. Well, I guess they're still dead, but what about the Asura? Do you think he's just turned around and ran off? Well, in any case, with that beast prowling this area at the path to Ara, that's another part of the meta done. I want to point out another event that's nearby right here also. So there's a statue of Dwayne there, by the way. It's interesting that there's a Risen Knight that's kind of harpyish next to Dwayne, who also herself is kind of harpyish. There's another event up here with these giant Risen chickens. So I'm not actually going to do this one. This is a side event to the meta, but a really iconic event for the game in that there are some bird studiers here. What's the term? Ornithologist, I think it is. And if you do this event, you can actually unlock a special item in the game that lets you leap around using a rifle. Which people used to use to break out of maps and things en masse. But yeah, there are the giant chickens. They genuinely hurt, and you'll see that they have explodes as well as a part of what they do. So pretty scary stuff. All right, so you got that, and you'll notice on the world map that covers a big area. And then lastly, over at the Karst Plains here, we've got to take the last camp of the map. So this is kind of the equivalent of Triumph Plaza, if you will, on the Straits of Devastation. And is, you know, securing for the end of actual access into the Cursed Shore. There have also been launch pads that can be used as we go through, for what it's worth. So, you look on the minimap here, there's about 100 dead bodies, which is kind of nasty to see, actually. Well, we got to start somewhere, so I guess I'll just begin rezzing and hope that some other players come and help us out. Basically, that escort would take us to here, and then we have to claim this camp. There's Risen everywhere, and only once we do that does this final waypoint open up. Again, it's a bit like at the end of Straits of Devastation, in that whether you own the camp or not doesn't actually matter whether you can go through the portal at the back of the map. And again, I find that a little bit disappointing, but they have it. There you go, so we got a player. Good stuff. We'll just make sure we keep him alive with our heals, and let him rampage through. So here you'll see I'm trying to res, but the Risen have set up catapults out on the fields towards the Cathedral of Zephyrs, and they're interrupting my ability to res, but we're going to keep doing it anyway, and you'll see that we're slowly building our own trebs, right? So Southern Trebuchet is being built. What we want to do, basically each of these has an engineer and 2 allies to defend it. The engineers will build the trebs while the others will defend them. So we just kind of want to get everyone up as fast as possible. And our resurrection will start snowballing. As we get more NPCs up, they'll res more NPCs. And you'll notice slowly we're going to sweep our way into the camp here and get everything. So yeah, grab these guys. It's actually quite a rare event. I think that I haven't done too often over the years in the game because it's so easy to skip and just walk through the exit of the map. But it's fun to actually do it here. So look, there's a keeper over there. They're rezzing up. Good. All right, there we have it. Everybody cheers. They're all quite happy. I wonder if we get any dialogue. Siege Master Gaddis coming forwards. And all the buildings come up. You see here, now we've got these. Can we actually man these?
Crush them all.
Crush them all, they said. Brilliant.
Some must fight so that all may be free.
That dialogue there, you'll be tasting your own brain when I'm done with you, is super generic. What I think might be happening in this event here is the devs never actually wrote any actual dialogue for the claiming of the camp. So they just use some generic dialogue that could work in any number of escorts or whatever. Like that line could work as we run into a wave of Risen, you know, in an escort or a defense or something. And they've used that as the victory audio there. Anyway, good help is hard to find in places like this. I'm glad you came along, they say. Don't mention it, no worries. So for that, we do, of course, unlock another Karma vendor, though. And this time, they say, this war will be won through the strength of people like you. You have my thanks. We got Doric gear. See, Doric torch, Doric, light of Doric, Doric helms. Over here, Crusader faint scar. Has a little something to say. Not now, we're under attack. No, we're not. We're fine at the moment. Agent Jara says not now, we're under attack as well. I guess that they're bugged. And have probably been for years. A couple more people. Are they going to be the same? Not now, we're under attack. I wonder what their dialogue's actually supposed to be. You can tell that the devs have probably got it written somewhere. It's just not flagged to run properly. So even while we're safe, they won't do it. Anyway, troop movements across the cast plains requires no further assistance at present. Further updates will occur as new troops clear the camp at the village of Ren. Is Ren fallen to the Risen right now? Oh my god, it has! Wow. That's kind of cool. And very rare for us to have seen. Excusing the weird cut here, another really important thing to show off here at Doric's Landing, the camp towards the end of the map, is actually around the back. First of all, you can trigger this point of interest, the Plaza of Lights. So this is actually where it is, where, you know, the King's Passage and whatnot, and the Orions would connect with one another. But the other thing is quite important and is guarded by a Risen, which I just spent about an hour killing a veteran Risen here, is this Doric Shrine plaque, which actually commemorates the king himself. And so this is perhaps where his pilgrimage finally came to. Very easy to miss because it's around the back of these buildings here. Once again, just like before when we were looking at the graves in the dream sequence of Ore, this is written in New Crichton when it shouldn't be written in New Crichton. This should actually be written in Orion. The text itself translates into... here lies Tirzah, she sleepeth with those she loved until the day breaks, which again could be a reference to a dev, an environment designer there, or it could be a reference to a ghost that was also named after the same dev in the original game who was in the Crystal Desert. So it's kind of up to you guys. It's very easy to read here on the resolution as I zoom into first person. But what we're really interested in here as we go forward is pressing F on it and check it out. This shrine bears an inscription. Read the inscription. And according to this, it says, "And when the world rang with the clanging of swords, and fire fell from the skies, Dwayna, goddess of life and air, heard the pleas of the weak. And when the rumblings of war did not cease Dwayna's charge, Doric did prostrate himself at her feet. With tears on her cheeks, she lay her hands upon him. Then Dwayna spoke, 'Lay down your weapons, as I have done unto you. You must do for your brethren. Offer protection to the weak. Give solace and shelter to those in need. Be a salve to the wounded. I am your goddess, and I will give blessings to all who follow these teachings.'" And so these are actually the scriptures of Dwayna that we can read here at Doric's Shrine plaque. So you'd think it would be a little bit of extra information about his pilgrimage or whatever, but there you have it, and it kind of describes, you know, that moment in the story. The friggin' noble has respawned, and Deborah's going to take a year to kill her, so I'm going to cut again, and we'll go along. But yeah, so Doric's Shrine plaque, easily missed, here in Malkor's Leap. So, there you go. That's basically the progression through the map up to the final door. I do want to show you one other thing, though, and it's one of these tunnels I've been talking about. It's underneath us. So you see these lights, these orbs? Remember, the Orions set these up to honor... Because remember, people lived in Ore for many years after some of the events I'm talking about here. So when King Doric came here on his pilgrimage and said, look, take magic away, the gods did it and then left and so on. But the Orions continued to live here, right? And they worshipped the tragedy of Malkor and honored it with their flowers and stuff. Here's another thing, the Festival of Lights, right? So the lights link from Dwayna's cathedral, and the stories go that Doric went to Dwayna, the leader of the gods, right? And so they're actually in close proximity. You've got that there. The camp we just claimed was called Doric's, right? That's Doric's Waypoint. And down here, you'll see that there is another extra event. Kill the Eye of Zaitan, patrolling the King's Passage. So, this is a really ominous place. That Eye of Zaitan is every bit as deadly as the champion we fought earlier, except this time I'm on my own. So, I'm not really sure how safe Deborah will be dealing with this, but there's this creepy tunnel here. This is the King's Passage, the suggestion being that Doric may have once upon a time come down here. And it's full of Risen, and there's these Bone Seeker eyes that shoot us and stuff. There's a very dangerous champion here that's patrolling, and it's an eye, just like we saw in the story. So this is our second eye that we come across. If we are very careful and very quiet and we come around this passage here, you'll find that there is the King's Altar. The air around the altar resonates with echoes of ancient rites and rituals. The awe and humility of people kneeling to a greater power can still be felt. And we can try and channel this. I will try to get it. We can use our blocks with Aegis to channel it, even though we're being interrupted by that grub. Good. And we can sneak on through. So there's a hero challenge in this place here. And if we come to the very back, you'll actually notice that there's a sneaky way we can climb out. The eye is... I think the eye just was here a second ago, and he just wandered down there. Yeah, he did. I was just looking towards him over there. I kind of don't want to go anywhere near the eye because they are just so dangerous, especially when they're champions in the open world. They're meant for groups of people to fight them. So yeah, we can come through, and this is the King's Passage. You come out the back now, and you're in kind of a whole other section of the map. Tyrix had a very brief look at a second ago. Here, look, there's a player here. He might come. Let's see. I would love to kill this eye. I would really, really love to, because there's a couple of events in here. Oh, he is coming. He is coming. Here we go. Are we going to make a friend? This way. Okay, alright. I'm going to have to do very well to keep him alive against an Eye of Zaitan, though. You guys ready? Where is it in the tunnel? Okay, it's the back of the tunnel over here. Here it is. Oh, some people might be fighting it as well over there. It looks like something's going on. Oh, yeah, look, there's a ranger. He's got a wolf over by it. Okay. Alright. So we're going to have a fight. We will kill the eye, or we'll try. Oh dear, this is going to be nothing like the ones we saw in the story. Way meatier. So let's try and break its break bar first of all. There you go. It's down. And now let's DPS it as hard as we can. So you see this player over is dead. It's because the eye was just shooting it. He managed to rally. Let's heal him up. There you go. And then get in on it here. Okay, it's shooting me. So I'm going to hide behind this so that it can't hit me too much. And now come back in. All right, and we'll team up. We got this, guys. We got this. 3 players. We should be fine. Yeah, look. We're bursting him down. Nice. Oh my god, look at him burst us. Look at that. He did that AoE. I managed to survive just because we're clerics and got a bit of vitality on us. Just got up. Nice. Down it goes. So good. And what that actually does is that opens the passage up. I think the ambience in here changes a little bit. It opens the passage up and another event can trigger in there now actually as well. But damn, okay, so the origin of the eyes, what they're doing, patrolling these important areas in the King's Passage, for example, very scary. And so when you come out of the back of that passage, you do end up in a whole other section of the map, way off on the west, that is very easy to miss. And look, you can look out towards the waters, again, out towards the Strait of Malcor, but in a more sort of distant area. And here, look, it's up. So here's another cool event. Defeat the trio of risen sea monsters. I love this event here, okay? You'll see we've got a ton of NPCs around. These are actually pact forces. Magister Hellway. Many of our fellow pact members have fallen in the battle to keep Followers Bridge clear. Some of them have become undead themselves, and it's our duty to hold them back. Is it more important to fight former pact over other undead? Some fear they might have knowledge and equipment that could take to Zaitan if given the time and opportunity. But there may be other reasons we've been assigned to this duty, such as... Some find it disquieting to see the shells of loved ones turned into miners' tools for Zaitan, and the thought of them wandering the world as corrupted monsters is painful, so we tried to cut them off here. I don't know whether that's pragmatic enough, but okay. There are Quaggan and Lagos here. Is that unusual? Lagos and Quaggans have been driven from their deep ocean homes to more shallow waters. A number of them have ended up here, or has changed them. How do you mean? Well, Lagos are used to fighting alone. Some, however, have chosen to stay and help refugees or else fight alongside the pact. Get out, it's not just Sire. Quaggan are normally docile, but many of them have joined the fight as well. And indeed, that's another cool event on this map. There's actually a Lagos you can find hunting Risen up there and you can kind of help out with. Fairly inconsequential. What's the importance of Followers Bridge? This is the only known access point to the Cursed Shore. Crossing that shore is the only way our troops can reach the gates of Arar, where Zaitan waits. Look at that. The only known access point to the entire last section. Okay, so yeah, who we got here? Ook? Foo! Quaggan is tired of running. Quaggan is ready to stand and fight. Okay, can we speak to the Lagos? Check it out. Zafizarim. Look at how cool this guy looks. So this is a male Lagos. Oh, they look so badass, don't they? Hello. I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. You can ask, I suppose. The answers are mine to give, or not. What would you like to know? What are you doing out here? Taking on challenges, of course. Same as you. We prove ourselves only against the most able of foes. And so this would be Deborah's first meeting with a Lagos, I suppose. It brings dishonor to fight a weak or unprepared opponent. Oh my god. Where are you from? I come from waters deeper than you will ever see. And I came ashore in search of a worthy fight. That is all you need to know. Deeper than we'll ever see? What do you guys think? Will they do a deep sea expansion one day where we're like way out here in like some abyssal depths? What they should have on the world map art is like some black pit out here or something to suggest, you know, there's some geography out there on the seafloor. Why have I not seen more like you? Normally, a face like mine is the last thing you see before you die. You are fortunate to get more than a glimpse of me. You're fighting with a pact? No, I fight alone, as always. We simply share the same prey for now. I have come to respect many of your allies, but I fight only for my own satisfaction. Thanks for answering my questions. I indulge your questions because I sense a vicious fighter in you. I hope that we'll meet again and fight to the death. Jesus. I hope you mean that in the nicest way. They're so like the Norn in so many ways. Another Quaggan. What an interesting mix of deep sea races displaced right here. The Quaggan next to the Lagos. Quaggans are taught to squoosh anger down deep inside and ignore it. But Quaggan saw many terrible things during the swim north. Things worth getting angry about. What will you do now? Quaggan doesn't know. Maybe fight. Maybe help other refugees. Quaggan must get together with the others and make a plan. There you go. What a cool selection of NPCs. And there's even Lua here, who we can actually challenge for a hero challenge. Quaggan is filled with anger and sadness. Maybe if Quaggan was less restrained, Quaggan would have been strong enough to protect others. Maybe Quaggan can learn to be strong now. I'm not actually... Oh, God. Oh, God, God. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Oh, there's a player here. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not actually going to fight this because Deborah will just take so long. But if we've got another player just rampaging around, there's some friggin' Blood Legion Char Warrior here. I love the way he looks. He's pretty cool, right? I'm happy to assist him in taking out this enraged Quaggan. Oh, look, there's a ranger here as well. So with all of that, looking out towards the water, okay, you'll see that there's this group event to defeat the trio of risen sea monsters. This to me is a very rare and fun event in that one of the things we fight is a super rare enemy you don't often find. Now, way back at the start of Caraflower's adventure, I did remark on a crab you can find underwater near an event. Well, here's another one, a king crab. And I think I said we'd find another one way later on in the game. And so I'm not actually going to fight it, but I will give you a glimpse of it. More of these spirits out in the water. Look, spirits of emptiness and so on. But you see that thing there? It almost just looks like a part of the terrain. That is actually an enemy. Look. And this one's risen, right? So it's a very special type of enemy. As we get close, we should see it. Oh, God, what's going on with the enemy? Okay, and there's a giant krill there as well. Here you go. So, look, it's the king crab. And we can actually hit him. He's like a structure. Really, really cool. And he sort of moves slightly twitchy. But there's also this krill. There's actually 2 krill as champions and the crab, and you've got to kill them all to do the event. That's kind of too big game for me, I'm afraid, even with our Blood Legion friend here now. So I'm actually going to hide from them. I don't think I want to go for that. But nonetheless, it's one of the cool events here. Coming up, there is also this statue of Grenth that we can claim from. This statue promises peace in the mists beyond this world. It remains untouched by Zaitan's corruption. So that's an interesting thought, that Grenth, the god of death, and some of his magic has been untouched by Zaitan here. You'd think either Zaitan would rush for this kind of stuff because he understands it so well, or maybe Zaitan can't get it because it's too similar. It's kind of a weird thought, right? But anyway, that one's actually untouched, and so we can claim it. And you get these beautiful rings. Look at these. These ones completely fallen down once upon a time, perhaps in the sky. As I showed you, the cursed shore is so full of them. Such a cool mystery of all, right? So there you have it. Now let's move on and check out the cursed shore and do our progression through that map as well. God, I love the entrance of this map so much. Just the sound design there. It's just so creepy and ominous. I really, really love it. And look, you immediately just are seeing abominations and stuff. You know, they really hammer it home hard and fast that this place is dangerous. Look how big the buildings are. Look at that. Look at that up there. Reminds me of some Xanacan stuff. It's so awesome. Oh, God, I love this map. It's so cool looking in the day. It gets really grim and like dark at night, but during the day with all the gold and just the magic feeling areas and energies. All right, so the first meta you'll see here is Pact Operation Southern Advancement. Right now, it's pretty far south. It's almost done, actually. They're moving towards Noose Road. But I kind of want to show you what it looks like when it starts right here at Caer Shadowfane. So that's what we'll do. Right, well, Deborah and I have been waiting for a while here for things to get kicked off. And I thought I'd point out, as night has fallen now, you'll see, that here at Caer Shadowfane, we do have a selection of NPCs over in this corner. There's a Priory Scholar amongst some Sylvari goods. There's a Pack Heart, And then we've got some other guys around, right? And basically, this is all going to begin with this pack heart here, who's waiting at Kaer Shadowfane right now, amongst Crusader Tailsin. So Tailsin says, watch yourself, friend. Not even these walls can protect us from the Risen. Remain vigilant. The things I've seen, it wilt your will. Now, when Trahearne sends the message from Trinity, we're going to find that they walk out of this camp and begin on the long road south. So I thought I'd mention here before everything begins and they randomly stand up that this is kind of where they are and how they stand about spending their time.
This far from Trinity, it's vital that the pack support lines remain clear. Our mission is to move forces south and reinforce the coming strike on Ara. Leagues of hostile territory lie before us, but we'll show the Risen what a little determination and a lot of firepower can do as we carve our way clear to their capital.
Oh my god, you guys have got no idea how long I've been sitting here waiting for this. And I missed it. I missed the opening. I looked away for 1 second to put some fish in the oven. And I've missed it. So, listen, I'm not doing all this waiting again for this to start out. Just to be clear, look at the bottom left down here. The opening dialogue, of which the voice acting I so desperately wanted you to hear, but now you're going to miss it, is this. Tailsin says, it's time, let's do it. Stick close like bark on a tree. And then he said, look out, as he got attacked here. So I've just rezzed the pack heart. I think if this died, this event would have failed here. But okay, we're ready to go. I'm going to have to turn the oven off as soon as I can in a second here. Well, the meta is ready. So, packed Operation Southern Advancement, sorry. There's this escort here, which isn't technically a part of the meta, but it kind of is a part of the meta. Basically, these supplies are being ran down in order to assist the next camp in the row. When it gets stuff destroyed as a result of the events that are taking place there. So it's taken so long to trigger, I think, because players have just been so good at defending this all day. I've been consistently swapping from EU servers to NA servers to EU servers, trying to wait and see if I can finally see it. And, well, it's triggered. So, yeah, we're going to come along. If you look on the minimap here, the camp is actually fine. It's not flipped. So I thought that the escort would only start once it fell completely to the Risen, but I guess that's not true. It will eventually just roll on through. So yeah, we got to defend this guy. They're counting us to get these supplies to Penitent Camp. I hope you're coming along. Yes, I am indeed. And so that's Penitent. You'll also notice that as long as the roads are open, you get these random patrols. Like, these NPCs here are not actually a part of this event, but they're coming along anyway because they just keep moving up and down the roads. There really is a real sense of NPCs properly moving backwards and forwards. So yeah, let's keep on moving along here. And see the packed heart go forward. I love that it's a packed heart at the start here with the Sylvaria at the beginning of the chain, you know. Somehow that just, yeah, that just feels good to me. I don't know. It could have been Doliax. It could have been Marmox's, any of this other stuff. But we start with Sylvaria-esque things, and that's cool.
A well-earned victory, if I do say so myself.
And there you go. So you'll notice that because we got this in, these cannons just got built, and these walls are getting built and things. This is actual destructible stuff that will break as the Risen assault this specific camp here. But so, yeah, this is a little bit deeper into the Kershore. We've got Penitent, and so Tactician Alamenia here says holding this position not only guarantees our safety, it keeps our sister camp to the south safe as well. Without us here, they'd be cut off and flanked by the undead. So we can say, do you have anything that would help? And you notice they've got a ton of Penitent gear and also an Orion spoon that we can buy. Also a bottle of putrid wine. Interesting. Maybe that was a part of one of the achievements to sample lots of alcohols. But yeah, so you see how the wall's been built now? We got these. That's basically due to this. So now that Oak Heart will patrol back up, I think, and they'll come in back through the map and they'll wait, and that just continuously goes along. So yeah, this is this camp. We got any other NPCs to speak to? There's some order agents. There's repairs we can deal with here. I guess Tailsin actually just said some other dialogue there, that we are the ward that keeps this place safe. Stand strong. I missed that completely. Here we got Explorer Wanda.
Knowledge is the greatest treasure.
Who has a man's voice. Penitent Camp may not be much to look at, but the pack does build the best fortified camps. What is that blue light run along the top of the wall, we can ask? It says, you may have noticed that in most of the pack constructions. That's an Asuran touch. Some of the troops here look at that and see hope. Some see security, some see foreboding. But what does it do? I guess it gives them something to look at and wonder about. And if that light takes their minds off what lies ahead, if even for a moment, then that's all it really needs to do. I guess that's true. So I get the feeling that this NPC doesn't really know the answer to that, and I still like our blue orb theory that it's somehow tapping into that magic. But hey, I guess you guys can make your decision, whatever it is. I guess the more canon answer is exactly what that member said there. So you'll notice down here we've got this long roadway into an ominous-looking tunnel. I actually think that this is a fantastic area of the map. I love long tunnels and things. A bit like the King's Passage we saw on the previous map. Events do actually roll through there and escorts. So I'm going to stay here with Deborah and make sure that we've actually got this place safe. And I'll show you guys what it looks like to progress further forwards the southern operation.
Comes from books. Mine comes from more vibrant sources. I thought that would be obvious to someone of your dizzying intellect.
Wow, so totally throwing some snark at the Crusader there. Very unfortunate. Oh, here we do have another NPC I almost missed. It's Scholar Gladeye, who says, Camp Penitent is a sight to behold, isn't it? Designed it myself. This close to the front, it has to be strong, but strong doesn't have to mean grotesque. How is it different from other pack camps? Oh, it has the usual packed wartime architectural touches. Zeta beams along the tops of the walls, jacktooth impalers lining the outside, no door. But do you see the inlaid stone arches and gears up there? I think so. How could I miss them? I wanted to give it an artistic flourish. For soldiers grinding towards the front, this may be the first thing of beauty they've seen in months, and it's wall-to-wall hideous from here forwards. You add that for the soldiers passing through. For the ones whom this will be the last beautiful thing they'll see, or just the last thing they see. Either way, they deserve more than just a fading image of rocks and rot. I wish you well. That's nice, the Silvari infusing a bit of beauty into the world. I'm not sure exactly what it is she's talking about. It's hard to feel comfortable with dragons in the sky, I feel. But I don't know, you can feel some hope from the airships up there as well. Look at the arch, guys. Look at that. Oh, so good. All right, yeah. So we're going to wait here and we're going to defend this place as best we can.
Hold it. Does anyone else feel that? It's the undead. Stand and defend this camp. They can't keep coming forever.
All right, okay. This wait was not quite so long. You notice that not only is it night again now, but it started pouring with rain. Really kind of cool. In the background at this camp, I've noticed you get all these birds sort of flying around a lot of the time. Anyway, so here we are. We are at the event to defend Penitent Camp from the Risen. This is the event that if it falls, it should trigger the Oak Heart further up, but people tend to quite comfortably defend. Right now, it's just me and the NPCs, but I'm going to do my best to keep them alive. This is, again, so many of the events I'm going to kind of talk in circles here towards the end of the series, which is essentially that they're all things I have a lot of nostalgia and memory over, having dealt with for so long. This one in particular would be really good to run to with a ton of players because these waves of Risen just give you so much loot as you're dealing with them. So yeah, I'm going to basically just stay on staff here and just try and pulse as much heals as I possibly can to keep them going. Now, we can't heal the structures, so the wall's already broke and the cannons and things might get destroyed. But I can try and heal the rest of it up. Let's swap back to Stand Your Ground as one of our heals here. Sorry, not Stand Your Ground. That isn't that's another shout we haven't actually seen. That's Stability and Retail, which is really strong. Not so good out here. Let's go with Hold the Line for the protection and the regen. And yeah, we'll keep these Vigil Crusaders out, who are way out in front, and try and keep them alive until the timer runs out. It's a 5-minute long event, and the more players that come, the more mobs come, and the more you can just kind of farm and hopefully keep people alive. As we progress along with this, there'll be a variety of different types of enemies we see. Including a cool wave filled with Risen Chicken. I really want to show you all. They'll spawn from like over here. They'll come up from around that road there, which by the way is where the Wraith that killed Corporal Byrne was stationed, up by that bridge, and they'll sort of charge through. I'd like to point out that on this defense, if the tunnel at the back, as you can see here, isn't currently under packed control, you actually get attacked from both sides at once. Spiders from the cave and Risen from here. And it's really kind of difficult. I've got to defend this last tent here, and if it falls, the whole camp goes down, and it's really tricky if you're alone and you're being pincered in. It's kind of a cool side of this, actually, in that the more packed locations there are, the easier it is to hold packed locations. The less packed locations there are, the harder the map is. So here we go. This is the wave with the Risen Chickens. When there's a lot of players, these scale up obscenely. They become like elites and stuff and just one-shot everyone in the area. It's fantastic. Anyway, 15 seconds left. That other wave won't be able to get her in time. I don't think I let a single NPC die here, by the way. I'm quite proud of that. Not a single one. We just healed them all massively. Look at all these green numbers. This has worked out perfectly. And so there we go.
Go crawl back into your holes and die again.
The event clears out. The rain goes away. I love this idea that Zaitan is summoning rain. Kind of like how his ships were cloaked, right? Didn't they suggest in storms or something back then? But anyway, so yeah, that's the defense of Penitent. Now, what we want to do is wait for the next camp, and we'll do our escort up there. See you guys then. Oh, well, hold on as well. There's a cool POI I want to grab next to this. Let's see what this is called. So much of what's cool about ore is these. So this is the village Saix. I don't really know anything lore-wise about the village of Saix way back in the day. But, yeah, the devs hint at it, at least here. Alright, I hate to do this, but my New Year's resolution for 2019 was related to exactly this. It's now 3 in the afternoon. I started this video in the morning. Right now, you can see the meta event. It says Shelter's Gate Camp is under risen attack. That is the camp to the south. And so what I'm hoping for is that no humans go over there and defend it. Because if they don't, the camp will fall and we get a really badass escort through this tunnel. That's what I've been waiting for. But I don't know how it's actually going to go. So I'm just saying here, when this ends, whatever the outcome, we're going to progress forwards, okay? And I'll tell you what the event looks like, even though we won't get to see it. Because sitting here hours and hours and hours, unable to completely leave in case something starts, has been hideous. So, fingers crossed, Deborah gets to see the full thing. Let's see how it goes. Oh, there it is. I did ask in local chat. Someone just ran down the tunnel. He's going to defend it. Oh, I can feel it now in my bones. It's not going to go through, is it? Okay, hi guys. So I'm speaking to you now from the end of the day while editing. The original take of this video I did give up because, yes, much to my frustration, the random players in the area did continue to successfully defend the camp and there was nothing I could do. And I moved through and I showed you the tunnel and stuff without the event. However, later than even that, I did find another opportunity to maybe get you the event, and being as stubborn as I am, I did. So, yeah, screw this New Year's resolution for now, I suppose. Here, I've got it for you. I couldn't leave this one event out. And please enjoy. Let's not get too bogged down in the logistics of how challenging this was.
There's great potential reward to this challenge. This tunnel would make a very effective supply route.
So here we go. He's just came in. Hey, Blix. How's it going?
You come seeking knowledge.
Well, he says this tunnel would make an excellent supply route and assure the safety of Penitent Camp if we can clear and control it.
We can make a huge contribution to the war effort by securing this tunnel. A moment, please. I need to call in some reinforcements before we depart.
She says, excellent. Gather your wits about you. I'm sure this won't be an easy task.
Let's exterminate some spiders. This place is infested with arachnids. Be sure to keep an eye above as well as around.
So his reinforcements being, I'm not sure exactly, just a few more golems. But the fight comes through the tunnel here. So as you can see, it's actually full of spiders. And it's feeling quite bright and nice in here actually during the day. When you come here at night, it looks particularly ominous and nasty. And our job, once we actually clear this event out, not only will the spiders that spawned as a part of the event go away, but permanently all the spiders that would otherwise be patrolling it also disappear to be replaced with golems and things that patrol up and down instead. So it literally is a case of you finish the event and you create a safer passage in the map for other players forevermore.
Normally, I'm not too bothered by spiders. These are exceptional specimens.
So yeah, it's especially creepy. I know a lot of people don't really deal well with spiders in games and stuff. Well, there's a whole event purely about pulling the creepy crawlies out of some kind of interior passageway. Lovely. Let's pull them forwards over here. In fact, those ones have been pulled away. We've got to make sure we actually stay with the Asura as best as possible. Sometimes he'll run forwards, and then once you kill the wave, he'll run back a bit, and then he'll come forward again. You don't want to let him get caught behind, you know, and get taken out or whatever. So yeah, we'll just give him as much might as possible. And we've got some allies here as well. There you go, have a bit of swiftness. I'm no arachnophobe, having spent so much life around the creatures, but these specimens are uniquely unpleasant. I like the idea that maybe as an Asura, he spent more time around spiders. Is that fair? Because he's been underground? Are there more spiders underground? I don't know. I tend to think of just being in the earth full of creepy crawlies of all varieties. Anyway, so the event ends with this big spider. Had we had a big zerg of players here, there could have been multiple giant spiders at the end, and they can even go up to, like, champion rank, right? And so it becomes, you know, a real challenge and a big, intense boss fight at the end.
We did it. This tunnel is officially secure. Let's guarantee its security by retaking this base. Why quit when we're ahead? The longer this takes, the more undead will be attracted by our efforts. We cannot afford to dawdle.
So, the disabled waypoint, and we've got to capture it. This functions essentially the same as the defense, except we've got a charge up bar. So, if I can drop my wall with the staff early enough, we can stop any patrols getting in at all. There's 2 entrances, and insta-cap it. But we have to be very careful and keep them knocked back. So, you ready? Deborah, keep them away. That's it. Push them back. And then hope that they stay on me instead of walking in the ring. Beautiful. Amazingly, the completion there leveled me up and we pushed him in, but it was done. Okay, good. So, Blix, well done. And that's a quick goddamn cap. Here becomes the Karma guy. Choppers will come in. And the place will get flooded with NPCs. This is Shelter's Gate. Gets periodically attacked. We get a couple of things. There's some NPCs we can speak to. So here's him here, Scholar Blix. If this falls, he retreats down the tunnel and you start his event up there. Instead, he's just standing here. He says, this place reminds me of that jungle just outside of the Grove. Don't tell the Silvari I said that. He's talking about the Caledon Forest. So, funnily enough, if we are a Silvari NPC here, we get an extra little bit of trivia saying, you realize I am Silvari. But we can just ask him as a human, what are you doing here? He says, we're running supplies through Penitent Path for the Pact Assault on Ra. You know that's why we're here in Ore, right? Yes, of course I know that's why we're here in Ore. This time we get smashed golem crystals and shelter horns and shelter visages and stuff. More wine is available for sale. So yeah, now this is where the next event would trigger from. And it actually spawns from this packed chopper. Let's speak to this Crusader. If you're stationed here, don't let anyone tell you the story of the Satil 6. Huh? I'm not stationed here. What's the Satil 6? A few months back, we controlled both this camp and the Penitent camp at the other end of the tunnel. So yeah, these are sister camps connected by a tunnel. The Penitent commander sent a group of 6 soldiers with a message for the commander here. What happened? Well, when they got to this end of the tunnel, they discovered this camp had just been overturned by the Risen. They doubled back in a panic, only to find that the Penitent camp had fallen too. So they were trapped in the tunnel. 6 unarmed soldiers, practically kids, trapped in that tunnel with 100 Risen closing in from both sides. They say, sometimes at night, you can still hear their screams echoing from inside. I'm sure it's just the wind. Listen to how grim this is. I wish the gameplay kind of reflected this sort of experience as well. So this is some really great dialogue as well, because it's one of the rare glimmering insights we get into how long this battle's been going on. You will have noticed through many of these dynamic events and things in some of the recent areas are saying stuff like, oh, we'll wait here for a day and then we'll move on. We've got a trek tomorrow. We've got and you hear a bit about the timescale. Here we explicitly know that Trahearne and the Pact have been dealing with Ore for months at least already. So yeah, never mind. I'm too busy for this, we say. We're too scared to hear that story. So there's actually a lot of events that spiral out of here. Dermot Priory scholars looking at a new type of enemy that we'll find around here. That being Risen Gorillas. And the main escort too, which once again, I'm going to stand around for hours hoping that eventually I can show. For this escort to start, same situation. We have to wait for the next outpost to fall and hope that players don't defend it over there. You'll see that the meta says that they've actually secured it. The next one's called Meddler's Summit. So it goes Penitent, Shelters, and then actually the next one I think is called Jofas we'll be going to next. So yeah, we'll wait around for that. There's this char. Does that char sound like a human? Let's speak to him again. Come on. Give me some dialogue.
Your reputation precedes you.
Damn it. He's not speaking to us. Well, anyway, he says, if you just came through the Penitent Path tunnel there, you might want to let your eyes adjust to the light. What is this place? That tunnel is the main north to south supply route for the front lines. This camp was established to secure the exit. If Penitent camp up north is the mouth of the tunnel, then this is the other end. The arse of the tunnel. So this is how you keep the supply route open. Only when we control both camps. Sometimes the Risen will overrun one or the other. Then we can't get any supplies to the front lines. If we don't have the camps up here, troops die down there. I love that scout dialogue at the start of the map talking about Fort Trinity, right? We're so far from Trinity now. So far. And yeah, this tunnel isn't the only way. Obviously, we've got a huge amount of the map over here as well. But it's the most direct and secretive, I guess. And, it is shelter, too. We can't be sieged by dragons above us while we're delivering supplies through this tunnel. Really cool thing to identify, and a storyline that we kind of miss out on when the Pact realizes that this is such a valuable asset to them. So yeah, I'm going to wait here and see what manifests for the next escort. Okay, perfect. So the next camp down has just failed And what we'll see in a second is that the Norn, a woman named Jofast, is going to be rushing with her tail between her legs back here. We might even see her coming up the road. And that means that the next escort will be able to progress. Brilliant. It's a dark and scary, ominous night here as well. But I do love the lighting in this area. Especially when we get around the corner. You're going to start finding some very cool Orions as we do so. Check it out. So here's Jofast. She's invulnerable, running back. This is something I mentioned a long time ago, but that's beautiful about dynamic events. Just how the devs intelligently move NPCs all the time in different directions. Most players don't ever notice or think about. But yeah, like, she's coming back here, and she should hatch a plan to reclaim her outpost any moment now. Oh, there we actually saw her as she went into the waypoint. Huh. I guess that's because she's going to come down on Chopper later.
We've been noticed. Risen, incoming. Battle stations, everyone. We must hold this position.
Oh, the defense is up. The rain comes down again. I love that touch. Oh, by the way, look at the background there. That's one of the other archers. You see that? Oh, maybe not, actually. That one looks like he's completely broken. It doesn't go all the way into the sky. Anyway, got to do the defense now before Jofast will reappear and come down on Chopper. So here's Jofast, having just arrived with a ton of other NPCs at the camp. Risen attacks forced us to abandon our camp to the south. Now I aim to retake it. You in? You lost your camp? Yeah, I was assigned to hold Noose Road. I knew it'd be difficult, but being driven from my camp sticks in my craw. So we can just say, I'm in.
If we can get these supplies south, we can re-establish my old camp. That'll get us one step closer to Ara and Zaitan. These Dolyaks won't be able to defend themselves while loaded down, though, so I could use a few volunteer guards.
Brilliant. So we started with an oak cart, a pack cart. Now we do get the Norn and the Dolyaks on their side of the offensive. So this, oh god, what did she just say? Did she just bolt off? I swear I was speaking to her and then she charged away. There you go, she's there. This really is an accursed place. It's no wonder nothing survived here. Yeah, it's pretty inhospitable. Traherne survived here. The Orions did before it was accursed, but I suppose that doesn't quite count.
A fight! The way ahead is treacherous. Stay alert.
This time we have the 3 Dolyaks to keep alive. The other NPCs aren't necessarily so essential, but those ones definitely are. And we can push across this bridge. I think actually under the bridge there's sometimes interesting gathering nodes that you can get down there. For some reason I have memories of being under this bridge quite often. Oh no, this is why. It's because spiders come up from behind under the bridge. Look how crazy that is. Oh no, they might... we might have deterred them with that wall there. No, they're still coming. Oh god, everybody? Everyone? I'm not the only player here. Everyone else just ran out ahead. There's a wave of spiders. Okay, I guess I'll just try and ward them off. Maybe we won't have to fight. As long as they don't get in range of the Dolyaks, so that the Dolyaks turn around and start attacking. Okay, that might be bad because he just got immobilized. Actually, we can cleanse the Dolyaks immob.
But our enemy is already dead. Makes the sport out of it.
Jesus Christ. We had the Char saying something similar before. I don't think that that's true. Why, you know, killing undead is fantasy gaming and, you know, whatever. Just fantasy as a genre's ability to cop out from having any emotional fallout of being a murderous bastard in a game like this. You can kill undead things and not feel bad. It doesn't take the sport out of it. It's perfect. Anyway, this is looking pretty bad right now. People are dying. The spiders are still on us. They're all the way back here. So I'm just going to try and make sure these guys are healthy. We lost one NPC, so I guess I'll Signet of Mercy that one. Retreat in ages for everyone else. Let's stack this stuff up. We kind of got to rely on these other players to get as much damage out. Okay, seems they've done good. And so as we round this corner now, guys, those very keen-eyed of you may start to feel a little familiar. Things may start to, I don't know, jog your memory just a bit. In a strange, not quite identical way, but we're actually beginning to see places that felt somewhat familiar in the Pale Tree's vision of Ore. That's right, we're in the depths there. We're in those dark, deep places that the vision showed us. We, of course, had another glimpse of Ore on Caraflower using the mirror, but the dream sequence actually began up that path there. You know, we kind of ran down and things were very different. The enemies we saw were very different. But, yeah, this is essentially where we're looking. And that vision of united free people standing against a dragon claiming camps.
My camp should be just ahead here. Keep your wits about you. We're almost there.
Well, look at what we're doing right now. So anyway, something to consider. The next camp is getting closer still. One thing I particularly enjoy about this is now that we're here, not in the dream, but in the real version, you can see all the beautiful color that's actually in the place. Before it was kind of all, you know, muted out by the specific post-processing that had been layered over it. But now it looks good. So check it out. You got more abominations. There have been giants and things around. I don't know if you guys have seen in the background too. But look, there's a risen gorilla there now. So some of the events start to deal with these. Gorillas were native to Ore. They're extremely dangerous in their risen form.
I don't believe it. The walls are still standing.
Oh, really? Okay, so check it out. This is it. Yeah, and the walls are still here. So the Risen reclaimed this earlier, but they didn't completely trash the place by the time we're returning. So if we can get our Dolyak supplies, we might be good. It looks like Zaitan did leave some forces there, though. We've got this gorilla and some stuff. Wow, the players here really blew them up. Jesus Christ. Down they go. Hope you're impressed with this, Jofas. Again, so here we go. We can claim the waypoint and the POI of Jofas Camp.
I could do this all day. Welcome to your new home. First things first. Let's free these Dolyaks from their supply packs. I want those poor beasts able to fight. Then we can see to the vermin problem here.
I like claiming the camps like this because it really instills that sense that, you know, this is also temporary and easy to lose control of. If you're a player that just wanders here and it's all claimed and it's fine, then you don't sort of get that sense that these are very impermanent structures. But you'll notice the waypoint is actually still contested. She talked a little bit about vermin. Let's see if...
This place may be a little run down, but with a little elbow grease, it'll be up and running in no time. You soldiers, guard those supplies. We'll see to the rest.
So, a ton of wraiths, stealthed wraiths just appear around us. Kind of a similar feeling to what we had way back when near Trinity on the airship, right? That Zaitan could just have raids wherever he likes. We kind of had a sense that they were around, I suppose. So there's X number of raids you've got to destroy before they take out our supplies, you see? So there's a bar representing how many Risen remaining and the raids in the area. Jofas probably has some new dialogue during this. I still can't believe this place is standing. With a little work, it might just be inhabitable again. What happened here? Risen attacks forced us to abandon this camp. It's the price we pay for pushing this far into Ore. No place is safe. What's to stop the Risen from retaking this camp again? Casualties forced our retreat last time, but I'm better reinforced with supplies now. This time will be different. I like the fact that she's probably only saying she feels more enforced because we're here, right? And a couple of the players that we've dragged along here with our commander tag. This chart looks pretty cool. So, yeah, we gotta just wait for more Risen to spawn now and make sure that every time they do and they try and destroy these supplies, we take them out first. And then we'll be happy and comfortable that this place is clean and we can move on even further. The next event actually will be the final one in the chain for the Pact Southern Advancement and will take us to about the halfway point through the Cursed Shores meta events to the Gates of Ara. Really in some of the last legs here for Deborah. Oh look, they actually managed to destroy one of the supplies. I'm not sure where it was. Was it over in this corner and they managed to take it out? Again, this was a really tricky event back in the day if it scaled too heavily because the champions that spawn would start doing more and more and more damage, but the supplies don't get more health, so if you get an unlucky position, the supplies would just blow up, and for that reason, Jofas would never flip.
Well done, everybody. Jofas's camp is ours once again. Settle in. I'll send out word that the column can move forward through here.
Beautiful. And the column moving through here, that's the last event. So I wonder what cool dialogue we get, actually, while we wait, just before everybody pushes out. I know that some of the NPCs near the doorway do actually end up getting a little bit of dialogue. Looks like they're building stuff. Probably cannons. You guys ready? We'll see what they spawn here. Is it a cannon the Whispers are creating? It's a cannon. Check it out. Okay, cool. So, yeah, we'll speak to Jofas, see what she's got as a karma vendor. She says, I hate the way this whole place smells. The sooner we can launch our invasion, the better. Do you really think Marshal Trahearne can get us to Ara? I like this reference to Trahearne in the open world. Like most Sylvari, Trahearne is devoted to his wild hunt. He'll succeed or die trying. That is an admirable thing. When you put it that way, his dedication does seem impossible, I think we said. More wine, Jofas mantle, packed Dolyak harnesses and things we could buy, pauldrons. What else have we got? Well, there's this vendor here. I'm pretty sure he'll just be for selling stuff, though, right? There's much more going on. Yeah, he's just for selling things. There's definitely like a Sylvari or something we can speak to, I promise, guys. Maybe they're not here just yet because we've got to wait for more choppers to come in and send more allies to the area. For that final event. So one more phase of waiting. Oh, here you go. Look. They're coming through now. All right, let's see what they say. They're invulnerable to make sure they can make it down the road that we just cleared for them. I don't think I can take this anymore. Dead things, risen things. There's too many of them everywhere. And do you hear that? That horrible moan? What is it? That's the trees, or what's left of them. dead trees, petrified, covered in coral. Even the dead trees are calling out, taunting. I don't think I can take this anymore. They're everywhere. Look at this. Remember, because we did hear there are suggestions the Silvari are kind of empathetic to living things around them, like plants. Maybe you should talk to your commander about a reassignment. Man, I love that dialogue, and that sticks out in my memory. Probably why I so keenly wanted to find it for you all here. As for the other guys that ran in, well, we got some agents tending to the Doliacs.
I'm not sure how much priory expertise we'll need out here in the jungle.
I leave tree research to the herbalists, but our historians have located an old map of the temple.
I knew this alliance was a good idea.
Of course you did.
There you go, look, see? So the temple, they are talking about there's more cathedrals nearby. So the idea in lore, again, you know, we can imagine this is huge, miles and miles and miles of land. We're actually in kind of a jungly area of Ur now. You know, Malko's Leap was many tens of hundreds of miles away now, perhaps. And that's their breadbasket, their farmlands. There were jungles within Ur. This is one. That's why we see the gorillas and stuff here. That's why the Silvari are so in tune. That's why there's such a tangled mess here. And a jungle is like, to me, you know, you think rainforests and jungles, you think sort of that's the most earthy earthness, right? So, of course, the cathedral devoted to Melandru is here. And as the story goes along, we'll find this place is maybe even more important than it first appears.
Supplies run short. We will need to mount a hunting expedition soon.
We should hunt and burn the walking dead around here, but they don't whet the appetite.
Disgusting. We'll head north to the jungle, of course.
Okay, of course. So yeah, I really like the sense of where we are in the world. It's actually called the Craven Blight, and Noose Road is what we just wandered down there. No particular POIs. There is a hero challenge nearby. That's actually sort of where the vision would have began for Ur. But I'm going to wait here, actually. Oh, no, come on, let's go out there. Let's go see it. I want to see what that point of interest is. They're all just so cool. I can't miss any of them in the series. You guys have to see all the POIs and what they're called. It's so amazing. And yeah, hopefully they won't trigger any events while we're away. So, yeah, it looks like there is actually a story going on. This is Historian Fia. She's researching the gorillas in the area. Maybe we can catch up with her in a second. But moving up, I do want to show you this, like, coral-looking area up here with this hero challenge called the Gallows Hang. That's the POI as well. Usually this is defended by a pretty dangerous veteran Risen. Looks like some other players come here and killed it. Before Zaitan's corruption consumed Ur, Gallows Hang was a gathering point for the arts. Even now, the location has a commanding presence. Well, I guess that's what this giant, like, seashell-looking thing is. I mean, very little is left. If this was a gathering place for the arts, there's basically no man-made structures you can see here at all. Maybe that's the beautiful thing about it. It's kind of cool because I've tagged up. Players are following me, so I can kind of go where I want and do what I want right now. But here's Historian Fia. Maybe we can speak to her and see what her quest is. She starts from the prior camp we're at. She's a Silvari. And she says, that fool Jasper doesn't realize how important this work is. How are we to defeat an enemy we know nothing about? Perhaps he's just concerned for your safety, we say.
I can't believe it. Gorillas. I've never seen one before. I wonder if any survived the sinking of Ur.
I still have trouble reading you humans sometimes. You don't think the way that we do. It's a known issue and we're working on it. So look, here's an interesting idea for just Tyrian world building. The sense that there is no such thing as a gorilla to the 5 main races. That they're like dinosaurs to them. That they're these extinct things. And we have the privilege of seeing them here risen within Ur. But that's not the standard experience. That's not normal, right? I think that's so badass, and I think it is true to this point, actually. In Guild Wars 1, I don't know if we saw any straight-up regular gorillas, and, yeah, sorry, in Guild Wars 1, I don't think we saw any straight-up regular gorillas, and I don't think we have in Guild Wars 2 either. Of course, in Guild Wars 1, we saw one of the great Marganite followers of Abaddon was a gorilla.
Wow, this plant has been turned to coral. It even has the little polyps.
But he was an ancient thing that, yeah, it could have been before or sunk. So, yeah, she's curious about these. A ton of gorillas are going to attack us here. I'm going to try and knock them down before they get to us. And that gives us time to kill these eagles.
What have you done?
Nothing. Wait, how did you get here?
I followed you. I didn't want to at first, but I realized camp was a lot less interesting without you. But enough of that. We have bigger things to worry about right now.
Yeah, such as the A-bomb behind you and this gorilla in front. Okay, so there you saw the big knockdown. So yeah, we have to clear these guys out.
We're wearing it down. Keep it up. I mean down.
Just die quickly, beast, so we can be done with this.
Beautiful. Absolutely glorious.
And do you see how, again, the environment changes to be all clouded and risen, and then it cleans up again?
We did it. Now we can explore even more.
No. It's time to go back. You had your little adventure. It's time to be responsible.
I suppose you're right. I do have responsibilities. I'll go back now. Thanks for coming after me.
You're welcome. You do the same for me.
So here's a little story about the Sylvari and the humans thinking differently about their own safety and about what's important and what they should do. Alright, so for this next camp that we're headed to, it's actually kind of a special camp. Unlike these others we've done, you'll see it's here. You can see that there's a scout, you can see that there's a commander. This actually never falls. So let's just speak to Scholar Sienna and move on our way here. She says, congratulations, you've made it this far. And we say, well, hold on, what do you mean? And she says, if you can make it all the way up here to Jofast Camp, it means you got through Penitent Gate and Shelter's Gate in one living piece. By my figuring, only about 1 in 5 who leave Care Shadowfane do. So Care Shadowfane being the top of the map, that's a crazy and terrifying statistic. I also love this idea that we're going through gates. Guild Wars 1 did a thing in its big end game area for Nightfall, where there was like the Gate of Madness and the Gate of Pain and the Gate of Fear. And here we're kind of going through gates again as well. I don't know, I just like that. 1 in 5? How did you arrive at that number? Made it up mostly, but it sounds right. Okay. Well, we're not speaking to an Asura here, so I don't know how seriously I'll take it. The fact you got here means you have maybe a 1 in 6 chance of making it all the way, where you'll face a dragon. I figure your chances of surviving that are about... thanks for cheering me up, but I have to go. Yeah, she's kind of an amazing Sylvari, actually, in that she's just very naive and blunt about the facts. Kind of Kathy, it feels like, there with that dialogue. But yeah, so let's run along the road. Again, maybe you could bring the Dolyax up this here, but I can't imagine it's anything too significant. And looking at the length of the video as well, you know, we got a lot of things to consider. It's a very short road too, so as you can see, as we just walk casually by that A-bomb trying to rip us to pieces, there's the camp there. You get this beautiful coral here with the dangling like tendrils coming over. Looks a lot like a person. And remember this from the dream, guys? I mean, I'm going to remark on how amazing it looks, but really it's just the lighting and the reality of the situation that's different right now. We're paying off big time on what was hinted before in the past. So yeah, we could choose to go north into vast swathes of the map we haven't seen yet. There's some old ruins there. There's a hero challenge and a POI, but I'm just going to slip around to the left here on Deborah. So there, look, there's actually a champion giant that we can kill. Let's before we go to the camp, let's kill the giant instead, right? Here's an event we can do to bridge the gap between them. So, what have we got? Well, we've got the plaque of Ewan, it seems here. Once a village surrounded by lush farmlands, Ewan's dilapidated landscape is now a poignant reminder of the days before Or's submergence. So let's grab this. Now, we've not been to a Melandru statue in this series, as far as I remember. The Guild Wars 1 watchers will know this, though. The scriptures of Melandru mention this place in Ewan, and so it's no coincidence that how when we were near the Cathedral of Eternal Radiance, we had, like, the village of Ren and stuff. Well, here's a reference to a thing in Melandru scriptures near their cathedral. It's really nice, all these little touches in awe. And, yeah, you see that giant over there? That guy's a champion. And that's kind of who I want to kill. You'll see the hints up there in the jungly areas of one of the cathedrals. There's, in fact, choppers down there. It seems like one of the events is going on, one of the big events. And as long as I still have players with me, we can kill this. But we do need players with us, because this guy is very dangerous. This isn't just any old champion. There ain't no Pale Reavers with Deborah here. This guy is going to smash us in the face if we don't have the manpower. Once again, it's a group event. So yeah, oh god, okay, they're grubs. Alright, so we want to clean the grubs out. If I had Reflex, it would have been amazing. Wow, there's an A-bomb charging us as well. We could have used Reflex to stop all these grubs from hitting us. Obviously, we're well familiar with them. Just holding my mace there in case the A-bomb hits us too hard. Look at how tanky this champion is, the giant. He's not even taken any damage yet. And hold on, didn't the Pale Tree send us a vision of fighting giants in this area too? And down he goes. That's a proper giant kill we just scored there. So very nice. There's no like NPC or anything or necessarily dialogue associated with that. It's just big ass dangerous risen now that are wandering around and becoming so dangerous that they're events all on their own. Well, we've got the pier over there and whatnot. Let's get to a little bit of safety up here at the camp. And that is where Deborah will be taking a rest. From this camp, we're going to be out of the Pact Operation Southern Advancement. That's now complete, and you guys have seen that in its entirety. And we are on to the last meta event of Or. Well, in terms of main story progression, you do have the cathedrals. Beginning here at Compass Plaza, called the Gates of Ara. And so you'll notice Jofast that we claimed a second ago, that is where the pale tree gave our heroes a vision of them leading, you know, the free peoples of Tyria and charging out. That scene never actually quite happened. We didn't charge out of that camp, but that was Jofast's, and now we're here, which we sort of glimpsed at.
You see that chopper come down? If there's any survivors, I doubt they'll last long. Could be some sweet salvage, though.
We have a ton of events and stuff to go for from here, and the escorts will continue. Some really fun hero challenges and NPCs and things to deal with, which we will get to very soon, guys. So that is the progression to Meddlers and the last free safe haven in the game. So there you go, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching.
Think anything different might happen today?
You know what would be different? If you left me alone.
And Deborah and I will see you next time.